Part 1. I never thought one small lie could destroy so many lives. At the time, it didn't even feel like a lie. It felt like a harmless shortcut, a way to avoid an awkward conversation. But looking back now, that was the moment everything began to rot. This is not a story about betrayal at first glance. It's a story about fear, silence, and consequences that arrived years later. I'm sharing this now because I can't carry it alone anymore. And maybe someone listening will recognize the warning signs before it's too late. When this started, I was 29 years old, married for just over 3 years. No kids yet, but we were talking about it. From the outside, our life looked stable. Good jobs, a modest home, predictable routines, the kind of life people describe as safe. But inside the marriage, something felt unfinished. Not broken, just quietly unspoken. Introducing the other person. Her name was Lily. She wasn't an ex, not a coworker, not someone I was secretly in love with. She was my best friend's younger sister. I'd known her since she was 16. Which is why I never imagined she would matter this much. The situation that created the lie. The night it happened was ordinary. Too ordinary to feel dangerous. A small gathering, some drinks, familiar faces. My spouse had left early. Lily stayed behind, visibly upset. She asked if we could talk somewhere quiet. I said yes, without thinking. The moment before everything changes. She told me something that night. Something she had never told anyone before. And when she finished talking, she looked terrified. Not of me, but of what would happen if the truth came out. She asked me to promise one thing. If anyone asks, don't tell them I told you. That was the first time I hesitated. Because that promise was the seed of the lie. I should have said no. I should have told her I couldn't protect secrets like that. But instead, I nodded, and that single nod changed everything. Because, within 48 hours, someone asked. And that's when I told the lie. Part 2. The first lie, hourglass 48 hours later. 48 hours later, my phone rang. I remember the exact moment. I was standing in the kitchen, staring at nothing. The caller ID showed my best friend's name. Lily's brother. My stomach tightened instantly. Because somehow, I already knew what this call was about. The question. He didn't waste time. No small talk. No jokes. Just a quiet pause, then a question. Hey, did Lily say anything strange the other night? My mind raced. This was it. The moment where truth or lie would split my life in two. The internal battle. I could hear Lily's voice in my head. Please, don't tell anyone. I could also hear my own conscience screaming that silence was not protection. It was cowardice. I hesitated just 1 second too long. And then, I said it. The first lie. No, I said. She seemed fine. Just tired. There was silence on the other end. Then a sigh of relief. Okay, good. That sigh was the sound of trust. And I had just betrayed it. Why this lie was different. I've lied before. Everyone has. Small lies. Polite lies. This one felt heavier. Because it wasn't just about information. It was about direction. From that moment on, every decision he made was based on something false. The change in behavior. Over the next few weeks, things shifted. Subtly at first. Lily stopped coming around as much. She avoided eye contact with me. When we did speak, her words were careful. Like she was walking on cracked glass. I told myself it would pass. Lies always do that. They promise silence. But they never promise peace. A second question appears. Then someone else noticed. My spouse. One night, casually, almost jokingly. You've been quiet lately. I shrugged it off. Blamed work, stress, life. But once again, the lie grew. One lie never stays alone. It invites others to join it. And the next one was not to protect Lily. It was to protect myself. And that's when the real damage began. Part 3. The lie that spread. The second lie. English. The second lie came easier than the first. That should have scared me. But instead, it felt efficient. Like solving a problem quickly. My spouse asked again a few days later. This time more serious. Did something happen with Lily? I laughed softly. Too softly. No, I said. Why would you think that? And just like that, I watched doubt retreat from their eyes. How lies change you. That's the dangerous part of lying. When it works, when people believe you, you start to feel smarter than the truth. You adjust your tone, your timing, your expressions. I didn't realize it then. But I was becoming someone else. Lily starts to crack. Lily didn't handle it as well as I did. The guilt showed on her face. She avoided family gatherings, stopped answering calls. Her brother noticed. He asked me again, this time with suspicion. The question that almost broke me. Are you sure she's okay? She's been different. I felt my heart pound. I could end it right there. Tell the truth, accept the fallout. But instead, I doubled down. The third lie. She's stressed about work, I said. She asked me not to tell anyone. That part was true, which made the lie stronger. He nodded slowly, but his eyes didn't relax. Something stayed unsettled. The consequences begin. From that moment on, I became a filter. Between Lily and her family. Between my spouse and the truth. Every question passed through me. And every answer I gave took us further from reality. The weight of secrecy. I stopped sleeping well. I replayed conversations in my head, wondering if I'd slipped. My spouse noticed the distance. Asked if I was unhappy. And once again, I chose the easy answer. Lies don't just hide the truth. They reshape relationships. And soon, someone would discover something they weren't meant to see. And the story would no longer be mine to control. Part 4. The discovery. The message that shouldn't have been seen. The truth didn't come out through a confession. It never does. It came through a message. A message that wasn't meant to be read. One careless moment, one unlocked phone, and everything unraveled. The night it happened, it was late. I had fallen asleep on the couch. My phone buzzed beside me. A message from Lily. Just 2 words. I'm scared. I didn't reply right away. I didn't have time to. Because someone else saw it first. The moment of realization, I woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind. My spouse was sitting across from me, holding my phone. Their face was pale. Why is she scared? The question that cut deeper than yelling. They didn't shout. They didn't accuse, which somehow hurt more. What aren't you telling me? My mouth went dry. I felt exposed, like someone had turned the lights on. And I was standing in the middle of a lie. The final chance to tell the truth. That was my last chance. I knew it. Tell the full truth, or lose control forever. My heart was pounding. And still, I didn't tell everything. The most damaging lie. She told me something personal, I said. She's just overwhelmed. There's nothing else. The lie landed, but it didn't settle. Because now, my spouse was watching me differently. Suspicion turns into investigation. Trust didn't disappear that night. It fractured. Over the next days, questions came more often. Details were rechecked. Stories compared. I felt it slipping. Lily panics. Lily called me crying. He knows something, she said. I can feel it. I told her to stay calm. But I wasn't calm myself. Because now, 2 worlds were about to collide. Lies survive in darkness, but once exposed to light, they mutate, and the next truth revealed would destroy more than trust. It would end a family. Part 5. The distorted truth. When truth is told wrong, the truth didn't explode all at once. It leaked, twisted, and misunderstood. That's the most dangerous kind of truth. The kind that looks complete, but is missing one crucial piece. The confrontation behind my back. I wasn't there when it happened. That's how I know it went wrong. My spouse met Lily alone. I found out later, from a text. We need to talk. Lily tells half the story. Lily was cornered, afraid, overwhelmed, and she did what frightened people do. She told part of the truth, but not the context, not the beginning, and definitely not my lies. How it sounded to them. To my spouse, it sounded like this. Lily was emotionally attached to me. She leaned on me too much. And I tried to set boundaries. That's the version they heard. And once that seed was planted, everything Lily did looked suspicious. The villain is chosen. People need villains in chaos. Someone to blame. And Lily fit the role perfectly. Young, emotional, unstable. I watched it happen. And I said nothing. The cost of my silence. Lily stopped responding to my messages. Not out of anger, but shame. She thought she ruined my marriage. She thought she was the problem. And I let her believe it. Marriage under siege. At home, everything felt fragile. Conversations were careful. Touch became rare. Trust was conditional. I want honesty, my spouse said. I nodded, and lied again by omission. The point of no return. There's a moment in every disaster where going back is still possible. I passed that moment quietly. No argument, no explosion, just silence choosing sides. The lie no longer protected anyone. It only decided who would be hurt most. And soon, someone would ask the one question I couldn't escape. And my answer would end everything. Part 6. The collision. The confrontation. The confrontation didn't happen in anger. That would have been easier. It happened in exhaustion. One evening, no distractions, my spouse sat across from me and said quietly, "I need the whole truth." Tonight, the moment of no escape. There was no anger in their voice. Only finality. That's when I knew, if I lied again, it would be permanent. Not dramatic, just irreversible. The truth, piece by piece. I started from the beginning. The night Lily talked to me. What she told me, why she was afraid, the promise I made, and then, every lie after that. One by one. The reaction I didn't expect. My spouse didn't interrupt me. Didn't argue. Didn't cry at first. They just listened, and that silence was devastating. Because, when I finished, they didn't ask about Lily. They asked about me. The question that ended us. How long were you planning to keep lying to me? I didn't have an answer. Because the truth was ugly. I planned to stop when it was safe. And that moment never came. The weight of betrayal. You didn't just lie, they said. You decided what I deserved to know. That sentence broke me. Because it was true. I took away their agency. Their reality. The consequence. They didn't yell. They stood up, packed a small bag, and said they needed space. Not to punish me, but to think clearly. I watched the door close. Knowing something had ended. The call I dreaded. That night, I called Lily. For the first time, I told her everything. My lies. The fallout. The damage. She cried. Not because she was blamed anymore. But because the truth finally existed. End of part 6. Peak cliffhanger. Telling the truth didn't fix anything. It didn't bring anyone back. It just stopped the bleeding. And the hardest part was realizing I lost everything not because of one lie, but because I kept choosing it. If stories like this make you think, you're not alone. Subscribe if you want more real stories like this. Stories people don't usually say out loud. This was one lie, and this was the drama it started. Thank you for listening.